Hello, and welcome to this new video series where we will be exploring rapidly growing AI, large language models such as ChatGPT, and its use for classical performing musicians. Now, I personally joined this party relatively late in July of 2023, and since then, I have noticed a number of concerns that were raised in a variety of fields against the use of this technology and the risks that it presents, such as, well, now AI will be writing the papers on behalf of students all the time, rapid online content generation, so taking away attention from us, misinformation, even more so than before, unethical data collection, and emotional manipulation. But after experimenting with this thing for about 2.5 months, I rather like it. Now, to be clear, I like it not for the reasons I have just mentioned. I like it because it is better than ice cream and better than procrastination, because it can be just as healthy and just as productive. Now, seriously speaking, though, there is an argument that potential benefits of this new tool can outshine all the risks and drawbacks. Similar to a light bulb being a better tool to illuminate the room than the candle. Now, of course, one can still get electrocuted while twisting that bulb into the socket incorrectly and inappropriately. So one can get hurt by misusing the tool. ChatGPT, once again, is a tool, and how it is being used depends on the user. And at this point in time, it is solely a responsibility of a user. And so I feel that if we, teachers, don't educate our students about the tool and how it can be used and the benefits that it can actually has, then the students potentially, by misusing this tool, will learn how to avoid obtaining any knowledge or how to avoid seeking any understanding, which is a big shame because ChatGPT and other similar tools give us an opportunity to gain more knowledge or at least increase awareness of all the different resources of knowledge that are available to us, as well as that can help us to brainstorm many more ideas in less time than before. Now, ChatGPT and similar tools are creating a healthy challenge for the education system, and I personally feel like it is a good thing. And it is growing so much that it seems like the world of academia is talking about the need for all students to know about it, to be aware of it, despite all the potential risks of abusing these tools. Once again, for example, by creating papers on behalf of students. Since, according to one of the developers, it is virtually impossible to detect plagiarism. So it really becomes the responsibility of a teacher to make sure that every student understands the relevance and applicability of the knowledge they are receiving at the institution. When that is the case, the incentive to cheat the system with the magic tool is much lower, as it only makes sense, hopefully, to study well and understand the subject matter. But if student is still determined to abuse the tool, then student is putting themselves at a much greater risk. Now, if you want to know what I mean by that, leave the comment below and we'll talk about it in some other video. I personally think of a ChatGPT as a combination of two things. It is a very neat playground for brainstorming, as looking up for specific information, or learning general ideas, synthesizing general ideas about something that may interest you has never been faster. And second of all, large language models, they can function as an assistant and can be used in a variety of ways. Exploring these ways while empowering each other with the results of these experiments is one of the purposes of these videos, of this series of the videos. The other purpose, or rather the reason behind my talking about this, is that I haven't seen videos that address using ChatGPT from the perspective of a performing classical musician, as well as how students in music academia who are not composers, as well as who are not doing music business degree, how other students can use it. So let's dive in. As a quick disclaimer, much of the factual portion of information in the rest of the video was generated by AI, although under a human editorial supervision. I will mention a few brief facts about what is an AI, what is and how to use ChatGPT. Then we'll talk about, I will share the screen and we'll play around with some of the requests, or those are called prompts. I'll mention a few ethical considerations, and that will be it for this video. So stick around if you're interested. Artificial intelligence, commonly known as AI, is essentially the simulation of human intelligence in machines. It dates back to the mid-20th century when computer scientists began asking if a machine could simulate human intelligence. Over the years, AI has grown from simple algorithms to complex neural networks capable of learning and adapting. In the music world, AI has found a variety of uses. It is employed in music recommendation algorithms on platforms like Spotify, automating the composition of background music for videos and games, aiding in music theory analysis, and even generating entirely new compositions. It is also becoming increasingly popular in music business for things like data analysis, predicting consumer trends, and automated customer service. I should also add a note from my own experience that just as impressive and quick AI is, it can be equally impressively inaccurate. In the fields of musicology and music theory, that is, you have to know at least something about the subject, or know enough in order to use the technology, to ask the right questions, to ask the right prompts, and then to know if the information that you are given is truthful or not. But once again, ChatGPT AI can be very good to summarize vast amounts of information, periods of time, centuries, and provide sources for further reading. All there is to say, let's perhaps not worry about AI replacing humans just yet. We have a little bit of time. I do like to think about this in the way how one of the YouTubers said, AI won't replace people, well, at least for now, but people using AI technology may start replacing people who don't or who ignore this technology. ChatGPT, which stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, is a conversational agent developed by OpenAI. It is based on a machine learning model known as a transformer, and its current version, GPT-4, is designed to understand and generate human-like text based on the data it has been trained on. Now, quick personal disclaimer, you can use this technology completely free I will put the link in the description. If you are fine using slightly older technology, which is just a few months older, I suppose, 3.5. For the purposes of initial experimentation, both models are just fine to learn and play with, and both models are equally inaccurate in the field of music. Once again, musicology and theory. So there is no point, if you are new to this, there is really no point in paying $20 a month for a newer version. But this is information. Now you're armed. You can make your own decision if you have never heard about it before. So ChatGPT is trained on a massive dataset comprising books, articles, websites, and other forms of text available online. This allows it to generate human-like responses based on the prompts it receives. Prompts or requests. More on that in just a second. We will be discussing its capabilities and limitations throughout this video series. It is essential to understand that while it can simulate conversations and generate text that appears to take a stance on an issue, these wouldn't be its own beliefs or opinions. They are generated based on data and algorithms, not on the opinion of a computer or opinion of the AI. ChatGPT, in creation for this video, ChatGPT admitted to me that while it strives for accuracy, it can still generate incorrect or misleading information and should not be seen as a perfectly reliable source. I think this fact alone is something that gets overlooked by students and adults out there, or more mature students. Ethical considerations such as the potential for plagiarism should also be kept in mind, coming from AI, when using its capabilities for academic or professional work. Lastly, it is essential for me to mention or clarify one more piece of a puzzle before we try to play with ChatGPT on my computer here. A prompt or request is essentially a question or a statement that serves as a starting point for generating a response from AI, from ChatGPT, or any other language model. There are a few more that have been developing for a while now. Google has one which is called Bard. There is Bing from search engine. There is one specifically trained on academic data. I will put all of those resources into the description to this video, and you will be able to explore that on your own terms and your own time. The prompt guides the model's output by setting a context or setting a context. The quality and specificity, this is very important, quality but specificity of the prompt can greatly influence the kind of response that we can receive. A well-crafted prompt will link to more accurate and targeted information, while a vague or overly broad prompt may yield results that are less useful. I should stress, once again, from my experience, when you are starting conversation with ChatGPT, as an example, it doesn't know anything about who you are or what you are seeking, doesn't know where you are coming from and what you want to receive. Thus, if you just type in a prompt as a search request for Google, you may receive something very generic and completely useless. So the more details you can provide and the more specific to you, to your personality, to your field, the context you can create, the better the AI's response will be. When it receives a prompt, it analyzes it within the parameters of its training data and algorithms to generate the most relevant and coherent reply possible. Its response is formed based on a mixture of factual information, data patterns, and language structures it has learned during training before 2021. So the prompt serves as the crucial bridge between your inquiry and the vast data set it draws from to provide answers. So now I thought we could play a little bit with ChatGPT, and we'll play with some of the prompts that AI generated as examples. You will see all of those copies of the prompts in the description, and in a few weeks I will also provide the link to the website where you will be able to download free PDFs from this video series and others as well. So when you get to the website, you will get this window after putting your information, just your email, name, and things like this. And you'll have I will close this up, but you will have a place to put your prompt in. And I'm going to use one of the examples of the prompts that AI generated while I was preparing this video. I won't be typing it in, but I will just copy and paste it to speed it up. So let's say I want to know more about the history of the jazz, and I will tell something about myself. I'm a student at the conservatory in the US, just to give more context of what kind of a program I'm going through. Some of it might not be accurate, like I said, but it gives a nice overview. Now, I'm a pianist, so earlier I was experimenting with something, and I will ask ChatGPT about sonata form and sonata genre and how it was evolving throughout the time. You see what's happening here. Now, let's say we're not at the conservatory, or even if we are, we want to improve our sight reading skills. Can you suggest repertoire? You know what? I was playing with piano before, so let's change this up. Let's make it violin. I will have no idea whether it's right or not, but if some of you are violinists, you will be able to tell. It also provides different levels, so one can find something that's suitable for them. Now, I was skeptical about some of the creative prompts, and this is something we'll be trying in different videos. But in fact, this thing can try to compose something through chat. So here we go. Now, this response is slightly different. The one I got before had a little table, and second of all, it was in C minor, and then I had 4 chords and then 4 pitches written on top of them. So it was exact melody, a little bit more concrete. And here's the cool thing about it. You could use the same prompt over and over again, and you will be getting different responses from this. There are 2 additional things I want to show you. Something that's called tone-specific prompts, and a really powerful prompt which is called act as. So for example, act as a music critic let's see. Now, this is not going to be a shortcut for music critics to write articles, or shouldn't be at least. But it just shows an opportunity, an option that one can explore while studying the piece. Another time I was trying to see if it has any knowledge about Bernstein's interpretation or thoughts on Mahler Symphony No. 5. It failed to provide me with greater details. However, let me show you something. Once again, it's interesting. I think I was using version 3.5 before as well. And ChatGPT confessed to me that it doesn't have a data that would directly tie Bernstein and his thoughts, opinions, or maybe there were some notes that are left behind in writing or in books on Mahler 5. So, but then ChatGPT, based on other facts, other articles, other data, was able to provide me some outlines, some ideas for this piece, and a little bit of a background behind composing it. Well, here it goes as well. Similar content what I received before. I would like us to try just two more prompts, two more different kinds of prompts, before moving on to a final section of this video. So here's one of them. As I said, act as is really a powerful tool when used with ChatGPT. So I'm asking, act as a mentor advising on how to deal with stage fright. Let's say I am a singer preparing for the lead role in an opera. Let's make it really serious. As you can see, it will state the obvious. It will provide a few more tips. Visualization, breathing, and relaxation, one of them. Yeah, essentially, we have a list of psychological tricks and so on. And finally, let's try the last one, the personal development prompt. Offer strategies for staying motivated during long practice sessions, summer, when there is no school and fewer external motivators. All right, let's make it like that, more details. And once again, more or less, he provides textbook examples if for those of us, or to those of us who have been exploring this literature or these subject matters through books. But for those of us who just starting playing or just starting in the world of academia, higher educational institution, then this certainly will provide, this will be a very valuable source. And actually, for anyone, this would be a nice refresher, even for more seasoned musicians. You can pause at any point and read those prompts, or yet better, you will see all of that in the description, as I said before, and just go to the website chat.openai.com, register there, and play with those prompts on your own and keep exploring them. I said just two more prompts, but here's one, and I promise not to lie after that. There was one prompt that I tried with my students, and it was relatable to me back in the day when I was a student. So the prompt is addressing music history 1 and piano or ex-piano student. I'm a piano student, first year, performance field, and I have to take music history 1 that focuses on medieval vocal music. It's hard for me to distinguish one piece from another. Can you provide tips? And additionally, please help me understand how is this even relevant to me, as I will never perform such music. Piano music exists then, just to clarify. Let's see. So it does start with providing tips as I requested. As you can see, listen actively, analyze text, identify melodic patterns. All of those things are helpful, but not all the teachers will actually teach how to distinguish one thing from another. So basically, an AI can become secretive teacher's assistant in your computer. And finally, as per my request, second part of the answer, it's trying to provide me with some information to make this particular class more relevant to me personally. I think this is enough playing with ChatGPT for one video. Let's move on to the next section. When it comes to the use of artificial intelligence, including platforms like ChatGPT, ethical considerations play a crucial role. One of the primary concerns is data privacy. Users should be aware that the queries they input may be stored for a certain period for purposes like training and improving the model. A particular ethical aspect for musicians and artists is the issue of plagiarism, as we talked before, and creative responsibility. ChatGPT can serve as an excellent tool for inspiration and brainstorming. It can help you explore a multitude of creative pathways, whether it is generating new melodies, lyrical ideas, or even full compositions. However, the line between inspiration and plagiarism can sometimes be really thin, and it is a boundary that needs to be respected. When you use outputs from ChatGPT, consider them as a starting point or a nudge in a creative direction, rather than a finished product. I will wrap up here. In the following videos, we will further explore a variety of prompts that we can use and how ChatGPT can be used to advance one's career in music performance field, as well as audience engagement and other topics. And I promise to be better at typing and illustrating. I can imagine that you would want to know more tips and explore more tutorials on ChatGPT, especially if you haven't heard about it until today. There are tons of free and valuable content on YouTube. There is a course on Coursera that is called Prompt Engineering. I will try to find the link and send it to you. I have it on my app on the phone. You can take it for free. You can audit it for free. I did that and it was very clear and very helpful for me personally. It is. The point I'm making is that you don't need to spend money on learning about this technology. You don't need to buy books or buy a course necessarily, especially considering that the book that you may be considering purchasing, that book may have been written by AI. And essentially you can learn all of that just by trying. So open up tab on your browser if you're up for it with ChatGPT. The link to that thing is in the description, or you saw where it is, just Google it up. Open up a few videos, YouTube or other platforms. Give yourself 30 or 60 minutes to learn first initial steps. And before you know it, you will start creating creative prompts that will be tailored to your interests and curiosities. Now, lastly, especially to all the students, this tool can be used for so much more in the knowledge seeking environment. Don't limit yourself to just asking it to write papers on your behalf, like all the papers. This tool can be very useful in writing outline of the paper. Just if you have a writer's block and it's hard for you to start, just start from somewhere. But using entire output as your own work, that's inappropriate, and that is what I'm talking about. Don't do that, because in the long run, you may end up hurting yourself more by taking this shortcut. And you will hurt yourself even more if you won't get caught. Once again, if you're confused, ask me in the comments and we'll have a separate short video on this topic, which is same to the one I mentioned at the very beginning of this video. If you are already in the institution that costs significant amount of resources, don't waste your time avoiding knowledge. Make the knowledge more applicable, more relevant to you. Make it be more interesting to you by using AI. Happy learning, and until next time.